This is a very old laptop I got from church. Someone needed some files pulled off it to move onto a new computer, and I at least don't think wanted it back, so it's mine now. But I'm going to use it to go ahead and teach you how to use a thumb drive, to use Derek's bootable, I believe it's called, DBAN for short, to permanently delete all the data off of it. And then I think I'm going to use it to give a demonstration of how throttle stop can work on a laptop like this, and then potentially even set it up as a Minecraft server slash something else like that. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. So to install DBAN, you're going to need a flash drive and a computer. I'm using my desktop because I've got the laptop charging and it's a very slow laptop. So I'm just going to take this, plug it into the little USB port on my keyboard here, and go ahead and look up DBAN. So right here you can see Derek's bootable. So I'm just going to go ahead and click download DBAN, and then my download will start shortly. Not sure why it has to start shortly, but I guess that's how it is. And you get an ISO file. Now, this ISO file isn't all that helpful on its own. It's nice, like, it's a file that you're able to boot off of, because this basically runs kind of like its own tiny little operating system. I don't know if it's technically an operating system, but it's like MemTest86, that type of thing, where you have to boot into it from the BIOS. But to actually put it on my drive, I need to do something like Rufus, which is a little file writing tool. So I'm going to check to make sure that I don't have any data on this flash drive that I want. As you can see, there's nothing there. And now I'm going to select my volume, choose the ISO from the downloads, and theoretically leave all this as is. That little pop-up was just an update thing. And hit start. And now we wait. I will have the link for where to download Rufus as well as DBAN in the description. I'm not going to do a how to set up Rufus tutorial. It's fairly simple. I might make a separate video for that, but I'm not going to go over that in this one. But yeah, well, once we hit start, there will be this little warning, all download devices will be destroyed. We already checked to make sure there's nothing on there, so okay. And now it does its thing. Okay, it's ready. So now I'm going to hit close, extract my thumb drive, and take it over to the laptop where we are going to run it. So for whatever reason, it wasn't wanting to boot off of my USB drive. Wondering if maybe it's because I was using a USB 3.0 drive and this can only boot off of USB 2.0 or something like that. But I'm just going to extract the hard drive and put it in my desktop and clean it off that way. The process should be fairly similar, just you'll have to figure out whatever your boot thing is for a laptop. Usually it's like F2, F7, or F12, maybe F8. Just kind of try booting, hitting those keys and see what happens. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this for you to do, because who knows what's on the drive. Maybe if you put in your computer it'll install some malware or something, but I'm pretty sure this drive is clean, should be fine, and I've got a video to make, so YOLO! Okay, after experimenting with a couple of different ideas, I ended up just unplugging one of my SSD, replacing this for now. But we're in Derek's bootable, and it's time to go ahead and do this. So I'm going to hit enter to start DBAN in interactive mode, and this loading process actually takes a decent bit. So I'm going to cut it out for you, but you just kind of wait and eventually you get to where it's loaded. Okay, I really don't know why, but boy is this video being annoying. So, let me just go back. So, we're in DBAN now. I had to grab a little Amazon Basics keyboard that I got for cases like this, where either this keyboard doesn't work or I just need a random keyboard for a computer. But, we have at the bottom here some different options. P for PRNG, M for method, V for verify, R for rounds, K for down, space select, up to start, blah blah blah. Anyway, I'm going to hit M for method. So right now it's set to DoD short, so something that the Department of Defense uses. There's some other things, but DoD short will be fine. Like, there's nothing too crazy confidential on here, and I mean, I would wipe it again before I would sell it, and I'm just keeping for this. This is just to teach you guys. I think DoD short would probably be fine for whatever. Then again, I'm not giving like legal advice or anything like that. It is not my fault. I take no responsibility if somehow someone still somehow recovers your data, but it would be very difficult. But if you really want, you could do something like the Royal Canadian, or, there's all sorts of different options. I'm just going to use the DoD short. Hello, Hufflepuff. Have you come to help? Okay. And I'm going to hit enter. And now I want to wipe my 500 gigabyte disk. Not my 2 terabyte one, because that one has a bunch of stuff on it. So the 500 gigabyte, gonna hit enter, and then F10 to start. And now that disk is running. So I set this up on my desktop. So that means I get to wait for a long time before I can use it again. Woo! I need to buy a USB 2.0 drive. Anyway, we'll be back once that's done. Alright, so I let the DBAN test run and I've got some bad news. It failed. Now I'm not sure exactly why. Might be that the hard drive is dying. I kind of didn't treat the hard drive super well, so I might have broken it. But theoretically, it still probably scrambled the data enough. I don't know. Maybe it even succeeded and this fails just here. It says non-fatal error, so I'm not completely sure what that means. But the steps I showed you for how to run it and set it up are still valid. This video ended up being a little bit janky, but just in review, go to the link in the description to download DBAN. Go link in the description to download Rufus. Use Rufus to use the ISO file you download from DBAN to write that to your thumb drive. Plug that into your computer and boot off of it. Then select your main drive in DBAN and let it run. And then come back to it after it's run overnight, and it should be wiped. But yeah, so sorry this didn't completely work out, but I mean, I've already tried running a second time. I don't think it's worth doing anymore, so this will be it for now.